What is the day today? March 29th. No. It is January 20th of the year 2009. And you are not you. You are a freshman in your second semester at the University of Oklahoma in Dr. Fears' Freedom in Rome class. You are in an auditorium in Nielsen Hall, and you've been wanting to take this class since you were a 12-year-old homeschooler, when your mother introduced you to Dr. Fears' famous Greeks and famous Romans lectures from the teaching company. Dr. Fears begins the lecture by talking about Scipio and his son, and retelling the glorious history of Rome. He walks up and down the aisles, telling of an ancient battle, and stabs a student with a spear, actually a walking stick. Your classmate is dead, but this is war. Is it not glorious? Your attention is just transfixed for the entire duration. And after the class, you go up to Dr. Fears and shake his hand. Thank you, sir. I've been wanting to take this course for a very long time. This childhood hero will be your teacher for 5 semesters. He will give you the values and the lessons that you need to live your life. He will teach you how to think historically. How many of you were in Dr. Fears' class? Don't worry, I won't call on you. Historical thinking. Can someone tell me what historical thinking was?
You just learn the past to make decisions in the present and plan for the future.
Thank you. And are you going to think historically in your life?
Yeah.
Yes. Dr. Fears would often ask me, Stephen, are you writing this down? Like Plato writing down the words of Socrates. Yes, Dr. Fears, I'm writing it down. And now I share some of this with you. Dr. Fears taught us that there are fundamental human values, the law of God, that are present across civilizations, across ages. These are courage, justice, moderation, and wisdom. Courage is standing up for what is right. Justice is doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. Moderation is nothing in excess. And wisdom is having the ability to know when to use courage, justice, and moderation. Information and knowledge is not wisdom. Information is what you find on Wikipedia. Knowledge is taking that information from Wikipedia and using it to write an essay for Dr. Harper. Wisdom is knowing not to use Wikipedia. Wisdom can only be achieved through solitude. Jesus used to go into the wilderness for solitude. Socrates would go into mystical trances. James Madison spent time preparing for the Constitutional Convention. Will you use these life lessons, these values in your life? Yes. When I go to Couch Cafeteria to eat my biscuits and gravy, my scrambled eggs, bacon, chocolate chip pancakes, do I exercise moderation? Yes. I live by these values. Couch Cafeteria is a glorious place to eat, is it not? And this campus is a glorious campus. Dr. Fears said it was the most beautiful campus in the country. And he used to take long walks from his class back to his office so that his soul could be elevated by the beauty of the campus. I used to walk with Dr. Fears back from class, and I loved it when my friends would see us walking because they would ask me later, Stephen, I always see you with Dr. Fears. You must be inseparable. And I loved being identified with my beloved teacher. The only thing Dr. Fears and I ever disagreed on was the internet. He knew that I loved the internet. And he would say, Stephen, I have looked at some more of the internet. And I still believe that 1 hour with Plato is better than any amount of time you could spend on the internet. Dr. Fears taught us about truth. But more than that, he taught us to seek the truth and love the truth. He said part of the wisdom of life is changing your mind. And the only reason for living a long life is to grow morally, intellectually, and spiritually. After a long talk with Dr. Fears in his office, he would always say, "You ask good questions. Come and see me again." And I did. Dr. Fears taught us about great books. A great book has a great theme. It's written in noble language. It speaks across the ages, and it speaks to you today. Some of you don't read books, but you watch movies. Someone name me a great movie. Casablanca, The Godfather, perhaps? Dr. Fears said Kung Fu Panda is a great one. It is a profound movie of power, courage, and faith. It speaks across the ages. We sometimes find our destiny on the road we take to avoid it. Dr. Fears taught us about myths, a means of expressing higher truth. Myths have a kernel of historical truth. They are about heroes who perform great deeds. Our heroes are violent. We could have peaceful heroes like Gandhi or Mother Teresa, or a single mom who works 2 jobs, comes home from soccer practice, bakes hamburger helper for her children, and then stays up late into the night because little Johnny forgot that he had a science project the next day. Is that not a great hero? Yes. But you love violence, so we have heroes like Jesse James and Achilles. Achilles is a hero of the Iliad, a book of unsurpassed wisdom. The Iliad is a book about the meaning of life and how to gain the wisdom to lead that life. Wisdom is only learned through suffering. The Iliad teaches us that we will all die, but what matters is how we live our lives and the legacy that we leave behind. The Iliad teaches us not to commit hubris, outrageous arrogance. In October of 2010, Dr. Fears told us that we would go down to the Cotton Bowl and beat those Texicans. Was that hubris? No, because we won. It is only hubris if you lose. Remember that. After talking about the Iliad, Dr. Fears would tell us about Heinrich Schliemann, who discovered the city of Troy, and Michael Vintras, who translated tablets that confirmed that the Trojan War was a historical event. And the great lesson from these 2 men was follow your dreams. You may not know it now, but someday you will find that one thing in life that you are meant to do. And when you find that, follow it. Dr. Fears said, if 10 of you from this class take this advice, I will be happy I have come today. Dr. Fears taught us about King Arthur and Lancelot and Galahad, tales of adventure and quests. You want to go on a quest, do you not? Leave behind Facebook, search for the Holy Grail? Yes, even though you will die on the adventure. There's nothing more noble than going on an adventure that you will lose. No self-respecting girl should go out with a boy who does not go on quests. Dr. Fears loved his country. He taught his students to love his country. He was very distressed by the boys and girls who were unpatriotic and pessimistic, and he was worried about the partisan politics, the debt crisis, and the foreign wars that have entangled our nation. But he said, you must realize that all things human will pass away. Do you think 2,000 years from now that some pot-bellied professor will be asked, Professor, will the Americans be on the final? They only appeared in 1 lecture. Or that historians will one day walk across the United States, the ruins, and wonder why this god, Ronald, was worshipped in so many places, in these temples of golden arches. He said 2 things will mark the decline of the United States: the implementation of the metric system and Monday night primetime soccer. But the United States has not fallen yet. Football still holds that primetime spot. And the values of this country are worth fighting for. This is the only nation in history to have been founded on moral principles, absolute right and wrong. This is the only nation where we say, come from anywhere in the world, speaking your own tongue, accept our values, and become an American. We're a nation of unprecedented generosity, and the legacy that America can leave behind is that more people will have lived in freedom than at any other time in history. What is the day today? It's March 29th, 2013. Good Friday. It is significant that I should speak to you about Dr. Fears on Good Friday. Every spring, he gave a lecture on the Gospel of Luke, which he praised for its historical accuracy. In speaking of the Passion of Christ, he said, "Now this is only a historical statement, but the crucifixion was the most important event in history. Rome conquered the known world. Christianity conquered the Roman Empire, and Christianity is the greatest legacy of the Roman Empire." Dr. Fears said, "It is a mystery that God would kill his own son to save us all. You cannot understand it." He wanted us to ponder why there is one nation that still speaks the language of Moses, still reads its holy scriptures, and still preserves its ancient traditions. Is that an accident, or is that the work of a divine hand? That first Good Friday changed the world, and the world has never been the same since. That's what Dr. Fears taught me, and I will never be the same.